For years, PC players have joked about being the master race. Most people assume that's because PCs have better graphics, more frames per second, or more expensive hardware, but that's never really been the main reason. In an industry that's constantly trying to sell you subscriptions, closed ecosystems, and fewer choices, PC is still the one platform where you remain in control. What makes PCs so much better for gaming and just everything else in general is freedom. Being able to choose every single component in your computer, then building it yourself, makes you appreciate that machine in a way consoles never really can. Even beyond having the ability to rip out a GPU and plop in a brand new one if it's ever necessary, the main benefits always come down to the software itself. Like, we all know that most people would probably go with Windows 11 as their main operating system, unwillingly as I am myself, but you also have a plethora of choices to choose from. Want to stick it to Microslop and go with the Penguin? You can. Want to run a dual boot with a Linux distro of your choosing alongside Windows? You can. If I woke up tomorrow and I decided I wanted to install North Korea's Red Star operating system, I could. It would probably end up infecting my entire system, but it's the ability to do so that makes all the difference. Since on PC, you aren't depending on Xbox or PlayStation, and even the Nintendo Switch for that matter, in providing you with their own lockdown software. But okay, let's say you want to play some games. Steam is the obvious no-brainer choice, as they are clearly a platform that cares about its players. Even right now with the Steam summer sale going on, offering hundreds to thousands of games, most of which are under $20, giving you one of just many sales that you can just fill your library with full of games that you actually want to play. And while we're on the topic of spending money, on PC, I buy a game and I play it online. That's it. On consoles, I buy the game and then I also get to pay another monthly subscription just to use the internet connection that I'm already paying my ISP for. Somehow this is still a prevalent thing with consoles. But the games are also digital only. Shouldn't this be a massive issue, seeing as PlayStation is making detrimental moves to do this exact same thing? Well, beyond the fact that many game publishers implement a DRM solution that makes it even harder for you to actually run the games without needing to run it through the client first, there is still a plethora of games that would undoubtedly still allow you to do so, as the files for the games themselves will always be on your PC regardless. GOG is another great example of a marketplace on PC that only sells DRM-free games, so you wouldn't even ever have to worry about if a game was going to magically delete itself from your library. And not that this is something that has even concerned me with Valve's core philosophy on Steam, but again, this gives you, the rightful owner of things you spent your money on, the ability to access such games that, if ever taken off the platform, there's still a good chance you could play it. Rocket League is a good example of this, which is still available in the libraries for the people that actually bought it on Steam before Epic bought them out, making the game free to play but retroactively removing the game from Steam. And if all else fails, there's always another option as well. But beyond all of this, it feels like more and more we are witnessing some of the wildest moves towards the bottom line for the industry in general. With PlayStation's latest fiasco in removing hundreds of movies from people's libraries, not even offering refunds because of a licensing problem on their side of things, all while announcing an all-digital future going forward, it's as if every single week there is a new article going over how a company plans to fuck you over and tell you that you will be okay with owning nothing. And the scariest part about all of this isn't even that hardware alone has become more expensive. It just feels like more and more companies are seemingly bent on this idea of milking every last penny for profits. As we are all aware that at this exact point in time, it's never been shittier to build a custom PC or make any big tech purchase for that matter. This alone is far from being the only thing affected by all of the dogshit practices destroying our ability to make these choices left, right, and center. Like, I remember the main appeal for consoles was always about getting into an ecosystem that allowed people to enjoy next-gen gaming at 1/3 of the price. Something that always made sense to me, even if I myself never really cared for consoles in the first place. But now, in this hellish landscape we live in, the PS5 Pro 2TB cost a whopping $900 before taxes. I mean, who the fuck is even buying a console at this price? A device that is utilizing hardware that is over 6 years old at this point. Even just recently, Valve's Steam machine launching with a price that is way too high for what it's worth just goes to show you the cost of everything in terms of gaming now. Like, I'm not even trying to hate cheerleader fanboy on Valve here because again, while they aren't perfect either, they also don't just come out and say, here is our new device, one that is severely locked down, that also only has our exclusive games available on it from our very own exclusive storefront, all of which is more expensive and dictated by us. The difference is that buying Valve's hardware doesn't lock you into Valve's hardware. And in a perfect world, if prices weren't so outrageously expensive for Burnt Sand and the Steam Machine were to come out at, let's say, $500 to $600, it would have been a steal. Because even past all of this, you can still choose to build a PC for like $1,000 that is even better than any console or the Steam Machine alone, all while still being able to fully access the ecosystem and enjoy the benefits of Steam and SteamOS for what it's worth. Because yet again, whatever it is you choose is your freedom. So let's just take a moment to recap everything here. Higher costs of hardware across the entire industry, an even higher entry price for games that are digital only releases, 90% of which are riddled with microtransactions, companies like PlayStation and Sony comfortable enough to tell you to your face that they will own your games that you pay for, and deleting your purchased media from your libraries all within the same week. But it also occurred to me that of all the mediums of entertainment, video games are quite literally the only ones moving towards having zero physical media whatsoever. With reading, you can read digital books, but the physical books in bookstores still exist. With movies and shows, you can still get Blu-ray discs to watch any movie and show that you choose. Even with music that is predominantly moved to a digital landscape, buying albums on either disc or even vinyl is still a large part of that experience today. But for the gaming industry, being a part of the largest and most profitable source of entertainment on planet Earth, these companies that are still obsessed with this idea that all games should be digital and locked into their own storefronts going forward is just absurd. I myself haven't bought a physical game disc since the Xbox One era of consoles, but even with that, I still know just how important and crucial it is to be able to have this as an option. Because let's say Sony continues with this change to no more physical media for their games. What stops them from keeping games at MSRP prices indefinitely and making sure that all sales stay final and go directly to their pockets? And who's to say Xbox and Nintendo don't end up following this exact same pattern? It's just yet another set of change you would lock yourself into when having to worry about what these companies are going to do about your shit. Like, I genuinely believe that if you really are a gamer and someone that cares about actually owning the stuff you buy, digital or not, then you will see all of the value in owning a computer. But anyway, that's really about it. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you all in the next one.